very warm welcome to you. Many thanks for being with us on this week's edition of the program. We remain your source for all the latest happenings in the world of business. My name is Lucy Olugbe. You are welcome. On the program this week, we take a breather from our regular lineups to bring you a special report on one of the fastest growing microfinance bank today in Lagos State, Davodani Microfinance Bank. The bank got approval from the Central Bank of Nigeria to operate statewide in 2016, having grown its capital base to 150 million naira above the stipulated 100 million naira. Today, the bank has an impressive balance sheet of over 1 billion naira. In a bid to properly position for the next phase of their operations, Davodani Microfinance Bank recently launched a new logo at the Sheraton Hotel Ikeja. The aim of the new logo launch, apart from positioning the bank for future growth, is also geared towards removing all ambiguity and simplifying the brand identity for easy identification and recognition by their numerous customers. As expected, the board, management, staff, and customers turned out to celebrate this milestone. Let's check out excerpts from the event. What more can I say than to urge you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the report. Details after this break. Please stay with us.
Davodani Microfinance Bank was first incorporated and licensed as a unit MFB in 2008. In 2014, however, new owners led by Mr. Austin Enajemo Isire acquired the bank with a balance sheet size and shareholders fund of 5.4 million naira at a time when its operating minimum capital of 20 million naira was eroded by continuous incurred losses. After the acquisition, the new owners embarked on a developmental journey of repositioning, restructuring, and recapitalization. No doubt, the turnaround strategies were successful because by first quarter of 2016, the bank balance sheet and shareholders fund grew from 5.4 million naira to 100 million naira. In line with the vision and mission to a leading MFB founded on integrity and professionalism, the bank was converted from a unit to a state microfinance bank, having met all regulatory requirements in May 2016. Since then, the bank has witnessed tremendous growth in all its performance measurement indices with a balance sheet size of well over 3 billion naira and a staff strength of 150 personnel. The bank boasts of seasoned and distinguished professionals from diverse backgrounds manning its key management desk, led by the Managing Director, Mr. John Ologe.
We came into the industry very intentional about our purpose and strategy. Our strategies are different from other microfinance strategies. And we must understand that the drivers of Davodani Microfinance Bank came in with varied experience, having worked in some other financial institutions. Especially, we have worked in some national microfinance banks before we came to Davodani Microfinance Bank. And so we were able to study the challenges in the sector and came out very clearly with our own strategy on how to run around the sector. And that has really contributed very largely to our success.
Apart from people with varied background, Davodani Microfinance Bank has also put in place structures to ensure the smooth operations of the bank.
Central Bank of Nigeria and NDIC, they are regulators. From time to time, they issue circulars. Aside from them, there are other circulars that are also issued by other governmental institutions, like tax authorities. What we do is we ensure that the policies, the circulars that are issued, the demands of those circulars are kept by the bank. When we say the bank, there are responsible offices that carry out those compliance issues. So we ensure that those ones are done and then we check them periodically. And reports are sent to the authorities where demands for such compliance are required. We ensure that we send those reports to the regulators.
Your credit assessment helps you a lot in decision making. Apart from the fact that there is credit bureau now that is helping us to know some of these multiple borrowers. Of course, if they have borrowed money from one or two microfinance banks, so when you do a credit check on them, their name comes up, so you can see the number of microfinance banks they have been to. So that tells you the extent of exposure they have with banks. From there, you'll be able to take your decision if it's a business you still want to continue to do, depending on the capacity of their business. You can't rule it out because we run around same customers. And you see some of these customers are actually good. When you see their credit history, you don't see any stain. And if you run it, into a customer with performing status, even when he's already with one or two microfinance banks, but as long as the customer still has the capacity to accommodate, your facility, you would, of course, will be obliged to grant such facilities. But if we discover that this person has reached his limit, we won't go ahead. Credit bureau is actually helping us in that aspect.
The vision of the board of directors and the quality of the management, that came into play, actually responsible for that. For instance, in the first 2-3 years of the operation, basically the first 2 years, we were micro lending driven. That is what we're just looking at, basically, more of group lending, more of small loans. But the bank has its own vision. We know where we want to be in some years to come. So we change the business dynamics to SME, basically, and though it has paid off to the bank, but then what we did in terms of the SME business was carefully selected businesses. Why not undermining the regulatory requirements of the Central Bank of Nigeria? So that is what has taken us this far.
Microfinance banks in Nigeria are faced with enormous challenges, but Davodani MFB has made steady progress in the midst of all the challenges.
Microfinance bank is basically about lending. And if your foundation is about lending, it therefore means that your growth is ability to grant the loan and ability to collect it back. So these are the things that have made us to sustain
amidst the challenges that is surrounding the Nigerian the environment generally. And that is also one of the things that has made the bank to grow tremendously. The CBN also, the prudential guidelines talk about your PAR that you must maintain, meaning that customers that are at default level, what is going to be their position. In the last examination in 2021, what the CBN provision was, and vis-a-vis the PAR rating, was less than about 6%. That was their own rating as at then. And as we speak now in 2022, even amidst the challenges, where the portfolio is now above 3 billion, our PAR is less than 6%. So if they've given us 6% in their last examination, and they are coming now and seeing it that despite of the fact that the portfolio has grown tremendously, the PAR has now come down to less than 6%. Obviously, the bank is actually doing well.
The success of the bank in the shortest possible time is as a result of the hardworking and team spirit of its dedicated workforce.
Motivation is just making your business place a beautiful place to work. How do you do it? You communicate your expectations clearly and you carry the people along. How do you carry the people along? You get the right people, the right people to do the job for you. Once you get the right people and you carry them along by way of training, like I mentioned earlier, making them to understand where you are going, every other thing will fall in place. Every other thing will fall in place. And not just carrying them along, but making them feel they are part of the organization. Because when the expectations are clearly, communicated, they will want to be part of the success story, and they will work well. They will deliver for you. So many things are responsible for that. Number one is recognizing their efforts. Now, once you do that, you compensate your efforts because they are going to put in their best. Compensate them, recognize them. It is not necessarily about monetary, reward, but recommending them for training. Periodically, you announce them on the platform that they've done well. That will in turn motivate the other person to work well because, of course, everybody wants to be recognized. And celebrate success. When you achieve a particular feat, you announce it, you celebrate it together because it's not about one person, it's a whole team. And of course, make them part of the team. Make them feel that they are part of the team and they are part of the success too.
As the bank positioned for greater impact in the retail banking space, Davodani Microfinance Bank recently unveiled its new brand identity at the Sheraton Hotel, Ikeja. The milestone event was well attended by the board, management, regulators, customers, and friends of the bank. Welcoming all to the event, the managing director, Mr. Oluge, said that the bank is poised to make a positive difference in people's lives.
Davodani Microfinance Bank is in a season of genetic and intrinsic organization and repaint. We have paused to not just stand tall, but radically assert our dominance in the microfinance bank space. We are more than ever determined to not just create wealth, but make a positive difference in the lives of people. Therefore, in the coming days, watch out for us as we become a new phase of innovative, customer-centric, motivated, and personalized microfinance banking experience. We are indeed that part of it. Thank you. While I have so much more to say, I must, for the sake of time, attempt to conclude by especially recognizing and appreciating everyone who has partnered with us from inception to prepare us to our present success level. To our customers, be rest assured that your satisfaction is our utmost priority.
In his brief remarks, the chairman of the board, Mr. Austin Enajemo Isire, noted that the bank is solid as a rock of Gibraltar.
The furtherance of the foregoing and taking cognizance as well as consolidating on the past achievement, we are well positioned to usher in a new era of excellent service delivery in the ongoing evolution and expansional strategy of our bank. All of this we want to do with a winning new logo and brand identity as a unique symbol of our growth trajectory. Ladies and gentlemen, the soon-to-be unveiled logo and brand identity shows the acronym DDMFB with the brilliant red and deep navy blue colors, which symbolizes love, courage, passion, and for the red, then we have loyalty, trust, and stability for the navy blue. So when we are stable, nothing can shake us. We are as solid as the rock of Gibraltar. Clap for us.
As expected, it was a time to share personal experiences by various stakeholders of the bank. Leading the pack of goodwill messages were the representative of National Association of Microfinance Banks, Lagos Chapter, Mr. Jide Stevenson, Mrs. Clara Olaniniyi, CEO, Infinity Microfinance Bank, Ezeadi, Mary Esther from DBN, Mr. Iloka Valentine Uche, Mrs. Nwaeze Jane Oyebuchi, Mrs. Ariola Adeyileka, and a host of others. With the goodwill messages taken, the new brand identity of Davodani Microfinance Bank was unveiled to the admiration of all present. The new identity is meant for easy identification and recognition by the numerous and prospective customers of the bank. Some of the directors of the bank speaks.
In fact, we are driven by corporate governance. Incidentally, I'm a past president of the Institute of IOD, where the corporate governance is domiciled, and he's also a treasurer in IOD. So we make sure that the procedures and the processes are followed. And we also make sure that this trickles down to management and the rest of the staff. Because what most people don't know is that when you imbibe corporate governance and you make it a core policy of an institution, then the institution becomes sustainable. But where people try to cut corners because they want to make quick fixes, the institution eventually dies and everybody loses. So part of the success of this microfinance bank is ensuring that corporate governance values are enshrined in whatever we are doing.
The corporate governance we have will make sure that all divisional heads, they are up to their responsibility, but at the board level, the policies have to flow directly with the prudential guidelines from Central Bank. But there's one thing we have had in the board to date is that of ensuring that the board do not, no member of the board actually should be the one borrowing from the bank, either by himself or by proxy. so that there's actually enough working capital, funds, as you say, a lot of money to give out to those who really deserve it for the purpose of banking.
One key thing I will talk about that attributed to our success so far recorded today is one, focus, passion. Once you set up objective and you are passionate about it, you will give it all it takes to navigate through the quagmire and the vagaries of the business environment. So but once you are determined, you will overcome. The second thing is that nothing I do without first committing it to God, because all power belongs to God. And you find out that He's the one who can empower you to make wealth. So based on that, I trust God, and where there are critical challenges, once I take it to God, I'm on the other side. The third things I will talk about and contribute to huge success we have is the people. The moment you have the right human capital, you will be able to navigate, because it's a teamwork. With that, we can excel. And so far, you have had the testimony here and there today. Isn't that wonderful? Thank you.
As the bank begins the new phase of its journey to greatness, they are looking to a robust IT platform to drive the operations.
IT department, in all honesty, like you just mentioned, it's the live wire to every industry. We cannot but have IT in your industry. So in Davodani today, we have actually moved from where we were to, in a space of 2 years, we have moved from where we were before to where we are now. Before now, we hadn't a mobile app or debit card. We were not able to do direct debit from customers' accounts. Okay, but with technology now, we have expanded our core banking application to accommodate more customers. Okay, having to allow customers do transactions and have services done from the confines of their home. They don't have to come to the branch, to do transactions. With our mobile app that we have introduced in the last 1 year now, customers can do transactions, send and receive money, because we have also onboarded on NIBSS NIBS. Yes, so the debit card also has supported in the expansion that we are talking about today for Davodani Microfinance Bank, in the area of being able to withdraw cash from ATMs nationwide.
We all know that the situation of the country in general, there's a lot of hardship going on, and the business terrain is very uncertain. So there's a high likelihood of customers experiencing challenges in their businesses and being unable to pay. However, as much as possible, we try to mitigate these effects. We do that by, first of all, we ensure that what we do is cash-based lending, cash flow-based lending. It's very important for us to be able to access the cash flow of the person that is able to match our repayment obligations as at when due. But way beyond accessing the cash flow of these people, it's necessary to have some form of collateral in place, and not just having collateral, but the kind of collateral that you can have resort to and recover in the event of default. So yes, as much as possible, we try to, get collaterals that are of reasonable value, enough to repay back those facilities that have been taken. Also, as much as possible, we try to get capable guarantors to guarantee these facilities with their check instruments as well. These check instruments are very viable tools to help us recover our debts in the event of default. But it's very important that the guarantors that we take are people of requisite capacity to be able to level up to their responsibilities.
Davodani Microfinance Bank has come a long way and looking ahead with two options, either to become a licensed national microfinance bank or to transit into a regional bank. With the progress they have made within these 8 years, many are without a doubt that this is one brand to watch.
All right. Davodani Microfinance Bank is a true definition of never despise the days of little beginnings. So, for your SME's financial needs, please contact them. That's our show for today. Many thanks for being with us. Join us again next week for a fresh package. Follow us on all our social media platforms. Our flagship Pidgin English radio show is live every Wednesday on Niger FM 102.7. Keep a date with us. My name is Lucy Lugbe. From the entire team, it's goodbye.